Welcome to Fiji.
G'day guys, welcome back to another video. So I've just gotten back from my 65th competition, and this was one of my favorite competitions I've ever been to because this was in Fiji. Fiji is my 8th country I've competed in so far, including Australia, and man, it was so fun. Fiji is a beautiful country and I'd highly recommend you going there. And I spent about a week in Fiji, traveling to a few different places and staying in some amazing resorts that I'll show you later on. And this competition, I did pretty well too. Basically, the competition was in a city called Nadi, which is the second largest city in Fiji. It's basically where all the international tourists go because it has the biggest international airport, and the competition was literally like across the road from the airport, so it was really easy to get to. But I actually came to Fiji a couple of days earlier and went to Suva, which is the capital city of Fiji. And we've made it to Fiji. Right now I'm in Suva, not a bad view. This is our resort here. Gonna check out a bit of the city today. Very interesting city. I've never really seen anything quite like this, but I'm pretty excited. I stayed there for a couple of days, and that was a really interesting city, but it wasn't very touristy. It was a bit more businessy. There was a few interesting things that we got to check out, including the Parliament House, the museum, and the university. I stayed there for a little bit, and then I flew back to Nadi for the competition, which was just a one-day competition in this really cool resort. I wasn't staying there, I was staying about half an hour away in a different resort, which was also really beautiful. Not a bad place for a competition. But when I got there, I got greeted with a couple of little signs, and the venue was really cool. This was quite a nice resort, so the conference room is really nice too. And there was so many people that came. There was around 40 or 50 competitors, and most of them were Fijian. There was lots of international competitors, including people from Australia, like me, New Zealand, Singapore, China, and as far as European countries, there was a couple of guys from Italy, and then the organizer, Ron, is from the Netherlands, along with Peter from Sweden. So a really cool experience. There was 2 other competitions in 2 different countries in the Pacific that Ron also organized, Tonga and Fiji, but I didn't really have time to go to those ones, unfortunately. Alright, we finally made it to Fiji National. We're in Nadi, Fiji. This is a pretty cool venue. It's really tropical. It's pretty hot right now. Let's get inside. So yeah, when I got there, I signed in, and then I had my first event, which was 4x4, which I did okay in. I mean, 4x4 is not one of my better events, but I have been getting a little bit better at it because I only learned Yao very recently. I know I've been competing for 6 years, but yeah, I got a 54 average with a 50 as my best, and I came 5th, which was pretty cool. It was really cool to see a lot of Fijian competitors competing for the first time. It was really great to actually meet a few. There was lots of national records in all the different events that were on because there'd never been a Fiji competitor compete in these events before. Then after this was Scube, and all these events were sort of the final because there was only one round of it. So it meant that if you come 3rd in the first round, you come 3rd in the finals, which I ended up doing. I got a pretty bad average, to be honest, for me. I got a 6.99 average, but I was still pretty happy because I ended up coming 3rd. So a pretty good start for me. I already got my first podium, and here's my certificate right here. And I already got a podium, so I was pretty happy with this competition. Then was one-handed, and I actually almost podiumed in this one. I got my 2nd fastest average ever. I got an average of 25.27 seconds, and my fastest was 24, so pretty consistent. But yeah, I ended up coming 4th in this one, so almost above the podium, and that would have been pretty funny because one-handed is not one of my better events. But yeah, after this was lunch, and you might have noticed there's been no 3x3 yet, which means that a lot of the Fijian competitors that were only competing in 2x2 or 3x3 came in after lunch. But lunch was really cool. We got to hang out in the resort for a little bit and use their amenities, which is pretty funny, and this was quite a nice resort. But yeah, then as soon as we came back from lunch, we did 3x3, and I did pretty good. I got a 12 average, which is not great. I got a 10.2, which was my best, but I came 5th, which was not bad. But with 3x3, there was 3 rounds, 1st and 2nd, and then the final. So I definitely made the 2nd round for this one, so I wasn't too bad. Then after this was 2x2. I completely bombed 2x2. I don't know what happened. I forgot my good 2x2. I brought just some weird GAN one that I had at home, and I got a 5.4 average, which came 7th place. Out of all the events, this was actually my worst ranking, which is kind of funny. But pretty cool to see there was a Fijian that ended up coming 4th with the national record average and single, which I think is really cool. And then after this was the 2nd round of 3x3, which I did really well. I got a 10.85 average. I actually almost got a PR average, which was really unfortunate because I plus 2'd one of my solves. If I didn't plus 2 this solve, I would have got a 10.18 average, but unfortunately I got a 10.85. I got a counting 9.7, which is pretty good for me, but I actually ended up coming 3rd in this round, which was really exciting because it meant if I just keep this up, I could come 3rd in the finals, and the finals were the next round. My fastest time was 9.21, which ended up being my fastest time over the entire competition, which was a pretty good solve. But I don't look really happy here because I got a 9, 13, 10, 12, and then another 9. So BPA was 10.8, and I was a bit disappointed because I knew about that +2. But anyway, on to the last event before the finals, which was Pyraminx. And I'm one of the worst at Pyraminx. I got a 9.3 average, which is actually kind of normal for me. I never practiced Pyraminx, and I actually ended up coming 4th, which is hilarious because I think this is my best ranking ever in Pyraminx. But anyway, whatever. Oh my god.
Oh no! Again?
Hang on. I'll just start my time and then this will be fine. I don't care. It's all good. Why is my pyramid half started? Why is my pyramid so... Oh my god, that's such a good screen. If I podiumed in Pyraminx, that would have been the weirdest thing because I don't think that'll ever happen. Unless I go to an even smaller competition than this. But anyway, then was on to the finals. And this was really cool because they set it up as almost a head-to-head final. Basically, the idea of the finals is that it was the top 8, but they also wanted 3 Fijians in the final.
Then in first place, Konobo.
Yeah.
So because there was 7 international people in the top 8, it meant that they added another 2 people from Fiji that were the best ranked to be in their own round. So the 7 international people who came in the finals went first. Alright, finals time, let's go. Which included me, obviously. And these were my solves. I got a 15-17 at the start, which was pretty bad. Then I got a 9.98, which redeemed myself. And then I got a 12.48. And I was sitting next to Liam from New Zealand, who averages about the same as me. I was watching his solves. He was getting pretty good solves. And I did a bit of calculations during this time. I needed to get at least a 10.02 on my 4th solve, and then BPA on the last solve to beat him. So it was a bit unlikely, but I gave it my best shot, and yeah, I missed out on by a second, 11.39, and then my last solve was a 12. So I ended up getting a 12.06 average, and I came 4th. So a bit unfortunate, and not my best solving. I think I was just really nervous because I knew what I had to beat, and that probably put me in a bad headspace, but I'm still pretty happy with 4th place. And then after this, they had the Fijian competitors, which they did a head-to-head with 3 people competing at the same time, one after another, and this was really fun to watch. Soham from Fiji ended up coming first. He already had the national record, and he broke it in the 2nd round today for 3x3, so there wasn't any national records in the finals, but this was really cool to see. I've never really been to an international championship like this before for a country that I'm not part of. So it was really fun hanging out with all these cubers from different countries, and a lot of them actually knew me, so shout out if you met me, and let me know in the comments if you were at this competition. Oh, and I was using the new Moyu Oolong from Speedcube Shop, which is a really good cube. It matches my turning perfectly, and you can get it from Speedcube Shop using my discount code for 5% off. Now that's pretty good. But anyway, this was a great competition. I really enjoyed myself, and I had a few more days in Fiji, and I ended up hanging out on some islands. Check out this island that I stayed on. This was in the middle of nowhere. It's called Beachcomber Island. Not a bad place for a competition, eh? And it took me 7 minutes to walk around the entire thing. It was so small, so secluded, and the beaches were amazing. We went at such a perfect time of the season, which meant we could swim all the time. I got a little bit sunburnt. Who doesn't on tropical islands? This was such a cool experience, and I really want to do more countries in the future like this. I'm planning on doing more next year, but we'll see what happens. Have you ever been to Fiji? And let me know your favorite competition. Great competition. I reckon this was one of my favorite competitions I've ever been to. Came 3rd in skew, 4th in 3x3. Could have done a little bit better, but I'm just so happy that I came. This looks really awesome on my profile now, and it was just such an amazing experience meeting all these new competitors and also all of my friends that I've seen internationally and in Australia as well. This will be my last country for the year, but there'll be many more in the future, so stay subscribed. But anyway, thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.